was a dominant player in the early 70s. All the rest of the players had to make a change from the rubber ball. That meant learning a new grip. The plastic ball was slippery. Number two, they had to learn to throw harder because the plastic ball hooked a lot more. Now, the manufacturers continued to improve on the bowling balls in the 1970s, making them more and more powerful. And nobody epitomized the power of the 1970s than Mark Roth.
Mark was Bowler of the Year 4 times, and with his power, we could always expect the impossible.
Roth for a 29-pin lead.
He teased it, but he leaves 7-10.
And he leaves the crowd buzzing. A good shot, apparently a good shot, hitting very light. Roth ripped the 5-pin, it went behind the 7. The normal pin action on that hit, the 5-pin goes over, takes out the 7. The 6 came around and hits the 10, but neither one of them happened that time. Roth is just going to go for 1. The 7-10 split. We've seen 300 games, we've seen everything. What a turnaround. In 19 years of being on television, here we have it. The one, the only, never before done on television. Watch Roth. Kicks the 10-pin out of the back in a crucial situation. Watch this out of the pit. There it goes.
What an unbelievable shot.
As the sport of bowling continued to grow, left-handers became a dominant force. They had a more equal lane condition to bowl on in the 1960s and 70s. 2 reasons. 1, the polyurethane lane surface, and number 2, precision oiling equipment that put down a uniform oiling pattern on the lanes. One of the dominant players of this era was Johnny Petraglia. Johnny won the Triple Crown. He won the 71 Firestone Tournament of Champions, the 77 U.S. Open, and in 1980 he won the PBA National Championship.
If he strikes here and gets 9 and a spare, he would shut out Gary Dickinson.
He's down on the deck, pounding it. Jubilation, not frustration. That's a game of bowling can often force you into.
And John knows what the importance of that shot. Situation becomes this: 9 spare, he shuts out Dickinson. Strike, he shuts out Dickinson. If Petraglia would happen to get 8 and a spare, we have a possibility once again of a tie.
Oh, he cheered that one. Clenched fists both over his head. And Gary Dickinson, what a day. Yeah, well, 1-3, came from position number 5, but he's against that Tiger who shoots it down now. What a shot, 4 in a row, Finney. It's a 235, and you have a Triple Crown winner.
Another famous left-hander, Earl Anthony, dominant in the 70s and 80s. Like Don Carter, was Bowler of the Year 6 times. Was the first bowler to earn $1 million in prize money, doing it in 1982 with his victory in Toledo at the PBA National Championship.
Chris, with a strike here, Earl Anthony can go into the $1 million bracket. If he doesn't strike, Charlie Tapp can still win the national championship.
In fact, he'd be 12,586 beyond.
Earl has struggled on this lane. He needs to strike to win.
Look at his reaction. You will seldom see that, but in this historical achievement for Earl Anthony at Imperial Lanes in the National Championship, wow.
He's the winner. He's going to be in the 220s even with a bad count.
Look at that. He is over the $1 million mark.
43 years old, his 38th victory, his 5th national championship.
What a competitor. Earl in the 230s going against Charlie Tapp And you were here at the richest tournament ever, the richest share to the winner of $38,000, but more important, he has set a pace as Susie gives him that ever-loving hug.
In Earl's career, he bowled many 300 games, but not one on television. The next 300 game on a live telecast professional bowlers tour was by Jim Stefanich in 1974.
He needs 3.
We've only had 2 perfect games on national TV before. Jack Billondolillo in Houston, Texas, of Houston, Texas. That was in Akron, a 1967 Tournament of Champions, and Johnny Gunther at San Jose in 1969. Maybe we're going to look at the 3rd.
But unquestionably, here's the biggest upcoming ball of the tournament, certainly for Jim Stefanich. The game is won, but this is 300 and a new Cougar automobile, all on a strike right here.
And the first show of the year. This is it for $10,000.
Oh, he pulled it up.
Jim Stefanich was a very serious player, but as time went on in the PBT, some of the players took on a flair of showmanship and flamboyance. Ernie Schlegel didn't let his flamboyant uniforms distract him while winning 5 PBA titles in the 1980s. Guppy Troop can be spotted by his pants, but there's nothing fishy about Guppy, as his 8 PBA championships will show. Marshall Holman's color comes from his heart. Holman let all his feelings show as he battled for a 2nd U.S. Open title in 1985.
Oh, is he happy to win. A man known to show his emotions, whatever they are, from Jacksonville, Oregon. And is this a happy man?
Nelson, all the matches we've covered on television, we see examples of pressure, the mental aspect of the game. Let's go to 1987, the first frame of Pete McCordick's 300 game, and examine it. Oh, that looked to me like any other McCordick strike.
Well, I remember that day, Chris. 1987, Pete McCordick had been bowling very well in 1986. He came out in 87 in top shape, and he warmed up real well that day. He was playing a shot very confidently, and when we came on television, he threw that first frame like it was just as easy as could be, no pressure.
Now let's watch pressure as we continue our examination of Pete McCordick. He has strung together 9 in a row. He's up and shooting in the 10th frame. 9 in a row, needs 3 more.
Now he needs 2 and $100,000.
Pete McCordick, a great arm swinging, loses the ball slightly on the downswing. You see it ball only about 3 or 4 inches over the foul line, but direction is 95% of the sport, solid in the pocket. The last player to stand in this position I can remember, Chris, was Johnny Petraglia. He had 11 in a row before finishing with 298, and I asked John, what went through your mind? He says, I went blank. The pressure was so much. Look at Pete shaking. 10 in a row.
One more. Ladies and gentlemen, just one more. And that couple, the McCordicks of Houston, Texas, will be $100,000 richer.
Pete McCordick, bowling immortality.
Is that a sight, Bo?
Within his grasp, one more strike. 1974, Jim Stefanich was the last time.
All right, here it is. Right lane. We have it! We have it!
Nelson, you're the son of a famous bowler, and there's another St. Louis combination, Dick Weber and his son Pete. And we recall watching Pete for the first time on the PBT when he was 7.